There were two books. So, well, let me just pull up the book that I downloaded, and then you tell me if this is the right one, like if this is the first one or the second one. I downloaded it on
I think it's probably this.
the one that you just released. Miracles are normal.
That's the second. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
second one.
okay, this is the
Yeah,
second one. Cool.
yeah.
All right, so Krista, before we dive into this conversation, for anyone that's watching, I think it's cool if we kind of share how we met and how we know each other, um, because I think the Tony world is so cool and fascinating. So we are, for people who are watching, we are Tony crew members, which is a very niche family. We are part of a very niche family of volunteers that volunteer at the Tony Robbins events. And so it's a very small community, but we're all very close and we love each other very much. And we all like to support each other in our endeavors and our practices and our businesses and whatever it might be that we're all engaged in and committed to. And so, Krista, you just posted a book that you were involved in writing called Miracles Are Real. Is that right?
Miracles are normal.
Miracles Are Normal. Cool.
Hmm.
So, I am so curious. So, I have only read like the first two stories in there. It seems to be like an anthology of stories,
Hmm.
personal accounts of miracles. Um, I think that's so cool. How did you get involved with this?
I had a friend that invited me to a Facebook group, and it was all about people who wanted to be a writer. And I've always wanted to be a published writer, a published author from very young. And so when she invited me, I thought, sure, I'll join the group. I'll kind of check it out, see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. And then the admin for the group reached out to me directly. And we set up a conversation. And she said, if you're interested, we have an opportunity here. We have two new books that are about to be released. You can opt in for both of them or just the second. It was a Tuesday afternoon when we met, and I would have to have my first draft copy into her by the Friday. So it was a very short
Uh-huh.
timeline for the first
Uh-huh.
book, which was called Divine Rebirth. And it was about spiritual awakening and, rebirth. So
Hmm.
we had this conversation, and she was explaining it to me and explaining the process. And she said, "So would you like to join in on this? Would you like to be in? It's multiple authors. Everybody contributes a chapter, and we all work together to help get it online, get it purchased, help it get to a bestseller status." And inside, I was feeling very uncomfortable. This is something I've always wanted to do. All the thoughts. Am I ready for this? Am I good enough for this? Can I really do this? This is short. I had every excuse to just say, maybe not now." But something
Mm-hmm.
inside me was just like, do it. Just say yes, figure it out. So
Mm-hmm.
I said yes. And then I hopped right in. And the first book was a little bit longer. We had five single spaced pages, so about 2,500 words. And I love writing. I write all the time. So for me, the challenge wouldn't be how am I going to get to 2,500 words. It was how am I going to write a story about spiritual awakening and rebirth and keep it to 2,500 words. So it was a great
Hmm.
experience. I scheduled time on my calendar, and I did it, and I got the draft in. And that one was the first one to be posted and sold soft copy. It's now out in hard copy and available. And then Miracles Are Normal was the second one, and each chapter in there is shorter, so more like a blog. It's only 800 words. And the focus on that one was, miracles are normal. So it was about divine intervention and magical manifestations. And so we went through the same
Mm.
process for that. And also, in not much time, like very soon, there's going to be a journal that accompanies the second book. So I've opted in for that as well.
A journal like for a reader to kind of journal along with or start their own like repository of their own miracles in their life?
Well, not everybody, it was an option to opt in on the journal as well. So different authors
Mm.
from the book Miracles Are Normal gets to select a quote from their book, maybe a reflection on it, and then maybe a journal prompt, and then there's some blank pages. So it's a
Mm.
collection of reflections, prompts that a person can then journal on.
Oh, that's beautiful. I
Yeah,
love that. Sometimes we need a little like, a little push or an idea to kind of steer the thoughts a little
exactly.
bit. That's awesome.
Exactly. Sometimes the prompt is
So,
like something you never thought of, or it brings something to mind that maybe you never would have. And then, as you're writing, sometimes that can take you into places that you really needed to go and never would have gotten to without it.
yeah, totally. There's been lots of times I'll start journaling and I'm literally journaling. I have no like I'm literally typing the words. I don't even know what to write about right now. My mind is all over the place and blah 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 blah. Like it's so like cluttered and disorganized. So sometimes having a nice prompt would significantly help. Um so just so I'm getting this straight. So the first book was about spiritual awakening and the second book is about miracles and how they happen all the time, whether we're conscious and aware of them or not. They're always happening. That's so interesting. So, with the spiritual awakening, what is that exactly? Like, how would you define spiritual awakening?
For me, I feel that it's a journey. It's bringing an awareness to the fact that there's something bigger than all of us going on, and we're all connected. It's about tapping into your true inner self, your higher self, your highest potential. So being
Mm-hmm.
more balanced between your mind, your body, your spirit, or your soul, not just living off of your conditioning, your patterning, your logical mind, that there's something a little deeper within all of us. And for me, spiritual awakening is waking up to that. And I think for some people,
Mm.
that can be one moment that just boom, and you're in a completely different awareness or consciousness. And for others, I believe it's more of a progressive journey. I don't
Mm.
know. Yeah,
That reminds me.
my personal thoughts on it. I don't know that there's ever a point where we can say, okay, that's it. I'm fully awake and conscious. I think for most, I think it's possible. I think for most of us living everyday lives, it's it's more of a progressive journey. And then you start exploring different things and then having more insights, more aha moments, and more growth, more healing, more awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alan Watts says something similar to that. He's like, you know, some people can reach Satori, which I think is I think it's a Hindu word. I could be wrong. Satori means like um, the way of light or being enlightened. Um, he says that some people can reach it in 3 minutes. Some people can reach it in 30 years. It varies for different people, but it's a process. It's a journey, and the journey in and of itself is spiritual by nature. I find that so fascinating because you're right. Like all we're doing is existing and deepening our relationship with ourself and kind of uncovering what that means for us. Like we all have our own unique. We're all spiritual, but we're all spiritual in our own unique an individualistic way because we're relating to ourselves through this one body, through this like
Mm-hmm.
lens per se, and it's as unique as our fingerprint. And so, like your spiritual experience is not the same as my spiritual experience. Um, that's so that we're all kind of going through that. And so the book kind of talks about that specifically. Like you said, it's lots of stories, right? Like
Each author
different people's stories.
has written and submitted their own story about their experience or their understanding of it or their understanding of the assignment. So it's every everybody's, well,
Ooh, what's
to
that?
just
The
write
assignment.
2,500 words about this, right? So
Oh, okay,
it was a
gotcha.
very high level,
Uh huh.
this is what we would like the content to be. And then every author would have interpreted that in their own way and chosen what they wanted to write about
Mm-hmm.
and what that was for them. So
Mm-hmm.
I think is very cool because you get a whole collection of perceptions and ideas and stories. So it can be
Hmm.
very varying. So you get a lot of very varying.
Very varying. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I love that. That being able to share, like different people being able to share and consolidate their spiritual experiences into one book, because a reader can read that and then notice that there are various ways in which people are having spiritual awakening. And there isn't like this one way, there isn't like, there's no right or wrong way to have a spiritual experience. I mean, technically,
Everything,
every experience is
every single
spiritual.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah. Every single
or at
moment
least
is
the
a spiritual moment.
opportunity for one. Yeah.
I had the, yeah, yeah, to recognize it and be aware of it in the moment. Yeah. I was watching a movie recently. I think it was
Not the
Avatar
third one,
3.
no.
Have you seen that?
I saw, but not the third one.
Okay. So I saw it multiple times in theaters and cuz it was so amazing. And on the second time, I I was sitting there and I noticed that I was like almost expecting to have the same experience that I had before. And the original experience, the first time watching it,
Mm-hmm.
was very profound for me. There's a lot of spiritual undertones in
Mm-hmm.
the film, and of course, it's very visual, just like all the other Avatar films. So it was quite a wonderful experience, and I found myself in the second movie, like maybe halfway through, desiring or longing for that past experience. And I realized in that moment, wow, I am never going to have that experience ever again. The the same
Mm-hmm.
experience that I had watching that the first time, I'm never going to have that ever again. And so, but I am having another experience right
Yep.
now in the form of watching it a second time. It's a new experience. It's not the same. It might look the same, but it's new. And I realized in that moment that with every single moment comes profound, profound joy and profound loss. Because I must come to terms with the fact that I'm never going to have this experience ever again. And this experience is quite spiritual. So there is a potential for me to recognize its profoundness in every single moment. And with that recognition of profoundness also comes the recognition of profound loss. It's crazy. It makes me wonder, like, if God is experiencing this all the time, you know, profound joy and profound loss at the
That's
same
an
exact time,
interesting
every single
question.
second.
I think, well, I think
What do
that
you
might
think?
define, that might depend on how you perceive God, let's say, right? It might
Mm,
depend on that.
great question, or a great statement.
For me, um,
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm more spiritual than religious. At the same time, I've studied different religions
Mm-hmm.
and I've found commonalities in it. And I think from my personal perspective is a little more of a big picture than any one particular religion, because there are things from each of them that really resonate that I take away, and it helps me to be a better me. So for me, the way I see it is everything is energy and everything is connected and everything
Yes.
is part of that energy. And even though each one of us are individuals and unique, we are still all connected. I read somewhere, I don't remember exactly the source, but it gave me a visual that just kind of stuck with me. It's like if you think of God or the creator or creation or everything as one giant web, connected web, and where each web connects, there's like a light. We individuals are those individual lights.
Yes.
So we are all unique, and at the same time, we are all one
Mm.
and we're all connected. And everything is energy, just in different levels of
Mm.
concentrated matter. So it's a very big picture, broad
Yes.
view. Um, and so when I look at it from the perspective of everything is all part of it, you have light and dark. You have ups and downs, right? You have inside, outside. You have both sides of every kind of coin in
Mm-hmm.
all things, and all of that is all part of the whole. So you would have to be experiencing like both.
Yes.
Both are always there at the same time. So you can have that profound moment and that
Yes.
profound loss at the same time. It's not a one or the other, it's a yes and. And I think sometimes too, what we choose to focus on, or maybe what we need to
Yes.
focus on, is maybe a little closer, a little louder, you know, feels different, but they're always, everything is always there.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Have you ever had? I love that analogy, by the way. There's another analogy that I've heard that's really stuck with me, kind of similar, um, and it was like, imagine the universe or God in the form of like a
Mm-hmm.
galactic body, for example. Just to humanize it for a second, um, and then that form of the galaxy is looking in a mirror, recognizing oneness, and saying, that's really cool. I really love this experience of oneness, and I want to see what it's like to build back up into this. And so it like fractalizes the mirror into an infinite amount of specks of dust, and each one of those specks of dust is like matter or atoms or humans, whatever it might be, and they're shining and sparkling into the galaxy. And over enough time, long enough time, like an infinite eternity amount of time, it forms back into a mirror to the point where we are now able to fully and absolutely
I love
recognize
that.
oneness and be fully aware of all of that at the same time. And so it kind of is aligned with your
Yeah,
analogy of each light
I love
representing,
that visual.
a piece of the whole.
I love
We're all
your
connected
visual
in some
too.
way.
I like that.
Have you ever had?
I like that,
Uh
the
huh.
way you've put that together. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's really interesting. It does kind of tie into this idea of evolution too. Like, you know, what is the end goal or the end state of evolution? Like, obviously, it exists to help us survive and evolve in harsh environments. But what if the environment never ceased to be harsh? Like, what if it was always harsh and we just kept evolving? Like, what would the end state be? Like, what's the reason behind that? What's the goal? Um, and I believe that the end state is God consciousness or absolute consciousness, where we reformed into that mirror and we are now fully and utterly aware of ourselves being whole. Um, it's really fascinating. There's a book about this called Stalking the Wild Pendulum by Itzhak Bentov. He goes into detail about like absolute consciousness and like you leveraging quantum physics and science to kind of explain it, but
For now.
we're all doing the best that we can to try and explain something that's inexplainable.
This stage of our evolution,
For now. Yeah.
at this stage of our evolution as humans,
I'm curious. Have you?
It's
What was that?
relatively new-ish. I'm also fascinated, like I am entirely curious. So anything to do with anything quantum physics and all of these things that we're talking about, I totally rabbit hole. I can lose time just exploring and hearing different perspectives. And
Yeah.
I think we are getting to a point where science is actually now beginning to be able to show these things, and that's very exciting.
Yes. Super exciting. Yeah, I agree 100%. I believe science is the language of of what we've felt to be true for so many years. Like old religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Zen, these very emotional and feeling based spiritual philosophies have been talking about the stuff that we are now using scientific language to explain. So it's like we've all known whatever it is that we're discovering. We've all felt we've all felt it to be real, but we just haven't had the words to describe it. And with quantum physics and science, we're discovering new things or creating new words to represent the things that we are discovering.
Yes.
And it's all tying back into what we've already known to be true our entire lives, which is that we are spiritual beings and we're
There's
all connected,
also
and that there's this invisible force that's connecting us
there's
all.
also
Energy.
scientific slash medical evidence. Like we're learning how to actually measure these things where before we weren't. So like if you think of Dr. Joe Dispenza, he has visual evidence of brain scans when people are in different states, and you can see how this is actually doing something within you in your body. And I more recently, I hope I'm remembering this properly, but I more recently stumbled into listening to Dr. Sue Morton, and she has the science background, and she's speaking to all of this, and she's talking about how you can see there is evidence of cellular changing at a cellular level as you become closer to that oneness. So there is actual physical evidence from our bodies showing that these things are like, this is real. It's not just woohoo. Not just woohoo. Miracle
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Miracles.
Literally are a
Miracles
miracle.
are happening all the time. We are a miracle. The fact that we exist is a
I,
miracle. There's this
I may
quantum
not have,
physicist
but
named
like
Nassim Haramein.
you
Have you heard of
recommend it,
him?
I'm totally
He
looking
made
into
the
it.
arc crystal. Okay, you should definitely check it out. He made this art
Cool.
crystal. I wear it all the time. It's super cool. It's It's a art crystal it's a quartz crystal that was made in a lab, and it's charged with this arc reactor that he made. And if you put this next to a plant, the plant will grow 400 to 500% faster. And him and his team ran tests to prove that to be the case, and it was proven fact. So it's a super cool thing. He's super smart. I really love him. And he has this like thought experiment that he does during some of his seminars. And he says that if you were given a Rubik's Cube and you didn't know how to solve it and you were blindfolded, it would
Right.
take you up to 1 trillion years, potentially, up to, you got lucky on the first
Mm-hmm.
try, but the chances are not that's not going to happen. It could take up to 1 trillion years just to solve it, right? And and then he says that if you have another person watching that knows how to solve it and gives input after every single move, a yes or a no, that's it. You can solve it in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So and he uses that analogy and kind of ties it into us being the Rubik's cube, however far more advanced than any Rubik's cube. The fact that we exist alone in much less than 1 trillion years and being more advanced than a Rubik's cube is statistically impossible unless there was some sort of input, some sort of yes or no after each change in state. So he uses quantum physics to kind of suggest that not only are we miracles, but there is a higher force that is involved in our creation, because there has to be some sort of
That is
input
super cool.
to say or to
And
guide,
then I would wonder,
our
I'm
formation.
curious.
Super cool.
So, would also part of
Mm-hmm.
that be our intuition? That gut feeling. Well, your gut, right? Is that also maybe another form of the yes or no?
What do you
Do you
mean?
know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
So, like, something
yes,
comes up in front of you, and you get that
yes,
gut,
yes.
I shouldn't do this, or I should, right? Should I turn or should I turn right here? And sometimes our mind will
Mm,
override and make a decision. But then when you look
yes.
back, like if you look back to all of the things in your
Mm,
life where something maybe, and I'm using this term, I'm using what I'm going to say lightly because I believe every experience is magic, and it's actually the bigger mistakes, the harder things, the bigger challenges. That's where the real gold is. Part of the learning, though, to learn about what's your mind telling you and what's your intuition is like when you
mm-hmm.
look back on things, how many times I think of a situation where you weren't sure if you should go ahead with a decision, and then you went a certain way, and then down the road you looked back and you were like, it goes awry, and then you look back and be like, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Like you had that knowing but you overrode it, right? So I'm curious, like maybe that intuition is an internal
Mm.
yes or no.
Yes. No, I totally agree with you. I was just thinking about this today, actually, because this has been a theme in my life that has been more prominent lately. Because I've been actively trying to not trying. I've been actively deepening my relationship to my intuition, and personally, I would just say I've been calling it my heart. So my heart will feel something and be drawn towards something, and that something is always something that's going to contribute to the expansion of my consciousness. And some of these experiences or things or people um, will contribute to my consciousness expanding in different ways. So, for example, like attraction to women. has been a thing that I've been not trying, that I've been deepening my relationship with. And I think this is an issue, not an issue, but I think this is a pattern that comes up with men in particular. Is we'll feel attraction towards a woman, and our heart will say, "Ooh, this is a powerful source that is going to contribute to the expansion of our consciousness." And but the brain, so the heart flutters, right? It feels great, the heart flutters, but the
Mm-hmm.
brain can sometimes get in the way and come up with a story, come up with some fears, some insecurities, whatever it might be, um, to kind of like, because that it's a powerful thing. Like, wow, this person is causing my heart to literally flutter right now.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful source. I'm scared, or my brain is saying I'm scared. My heart doesn't care. My heart's like, ooh, beat, beat, beat. I want to keep beating. But my brain will get really scared and come up with these stories. And I'm learning to kind of trust my heart. Trust that no matter what happens or doesn't happen, um, my heart is always going to keep beating for me. And this is not a dangerous thing. And what I've noticed is when I tune into my heart or my intuition, instead of focusing too much on my brain, um, I'm no longer like overlaying stories or overlaying fear or overlaying any insecurity within the interaction. So the interaction becomes pure, and there's no pressure,
Mm-hmm.
there's no expectation. There's just pure heart fluttering wonderful interaction with this person. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be women, but it just tends to happen more with women I'm attracted to. But it happens with just like powerful sources, you know?
I'm curious
So yeah,
because you're
tuning into your
referring to your heart. You're
intuition,
talking about
I
your
think,
heart
is a lot like
fluttering,
tuning into your
and
heart,
I'm I'm
because
a
your heart
pretty
always knows.
kinesthetic person, so I'm really curious. When when that starts happening, it sounds like that's the part of your body that
Yes.
you feel it in, like physically feel it. That's
Yeah.
where your inner knowing or your intuition sits in your body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. But I'm just, yeah, that's interesting.
For me, yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gets really warm. My heart beats, and again, it's not. It could be anything, any event,
Mhm.
any source of experience that is potent or profound for me. So another example would be like, hiking, or climbing a large rock. Recently, I went to Hawaii, and I was jumping off of these like pretty decent sized boulders into the water. It was so much fun, but my heart was fluttering, right? It was like do 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 do,
Danger,
and
danger.
that tells
Yeah.
me, "Ooh, this is exciting." But my brain is like, you can slip, you can fall, break a bone, right? Story, 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 right? Try, danger, trying to protect me, right? But my heart does not care at all. It just loves excitement and fun and adventure. And typically, for me at least, those are the things that
Mhm.
contribute to my consciousness
I think the
expanding.
intensity of the
I would say
experience
maybe not
has a bit of
quicker,
an
but
impact or
just in a more
influence
profound way.
on how profound something is or isn't. You know, like if it's scarier,
Hmm.
further out of your comfort zone, all of those things, and then you push through that and
Yeah.
go ahead anyway, then on the other side of that, you're going to have a more profound experience. If it's, you know, not as intense as that, you may still have some spiritual awakening or
Yeah.
experience like that, but perhaps just not. I think it's even, if you know what I mean. Like the amount of intensity, the amount of like Whoa. Mind opening, right?
Hmm. Well, that yes. Hmm. Yeah, no, that reminds me, like
Yeah.
talking about the other end of the spectrum, my breath work practice that I do on the breath holds, like after I do inhale, exhale. On the breath holds, um, I'm usually wearing double hearing protection and I've got an eye mask on, so I've got some sensory deprivation going on. And so that helps me to really hear and feel my heart even more. And on the breath holds, I'm able to really tune into it, and
It's
the
very,
heartbeat slows down significantly, like boom, 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 and it's really fun actually. I'll get like kind of lost in that, like just so slow, so calm. And if I can hold it for a long period of time, I'll usually try and challenge myself. How long can I hold it for? Just keep going until sometimes it feels like it almost stops. That's how like slow it gets. And then I'll take a deep breath. Oh man, I have this like really profound experience after the breath hold. But yeah, even like really really slow heartbeats is another. It's slow
I
and
have
not
actually.
physically
Yes.
intense, but it's still quite a
I
profound
teach yoga.
experience, you know?
So I have done
Have
a
you ever
bit of my
practiced
own
that
breath
breath work?
work, and I do take some of that into some of my classes. Um, I've done some Wim Hof breathing.
Cool.
I've done some cold plunging. I've discovered that because I don't do it every single day, I have some friends who I live near a lake and it freezes in the winter. And so they will go in the lake every single day, like even, and I've gone with them, like cut a hole in the ice and in we go. And I've discovered because they do it so regularly, their bodies are used to it. They don't really require as much prep going in. There was one time where I had been
Wow.
doing this with them. Just I hadn't yet been in a hole in the ice. I had been in a tub with ice, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. But I would use more Wim Hof style breathing to oxygenate my body and get myself prepared. And then this one day we were walking
Mhm.
out on the lake and it was kind of blizzardy. So it was blowing and snow and it was cold and it was ridiculous. And we're heading out to the lake with, minor cover. So we're freezing on the way. And so I didn't really take as much time as usual. I did a little bit of breath work, I did a little bit of movement, and then my friends were already in the hole. So I just got in. And I got in, and so feet on the bottom of the lake, the water came up to just like maybe around my belly button. And so then I just, took a deep breath in and sunk about another inch or two. And then my body just panicked and it just like hyperventilating. And I knew what I needed to do to catch my breath, but I couldn't do it. And it was such an experience because number one, I'm pissed at myself because I'm like, why can't I do this? I've done this before. Why is this happening now? I really wanted this experience. I said I was going to do it. And now I can't catch my breath. I know how to do this. It's funny how your mind just like takes over. And I got to the point where it was just like, I got to get out of the water. I can't do this. I got to get out. So I climbed back out. And then, we went back in and my friend
Mhm.
who does this all the time says, you know what? Like, don't knock yourself. You got in that water and you hung out there for a minute. You didn't get in up to your neck for like a minute or three or whatever. But there's so many people that would have stopped that journey the minute we put our feet on the lake and we got assaulted by all of that, winter weather. So, like, don't sell yourself short. But that lesson right there told me that
Mhm.
that breath work is like, it's an incredible thing,
Mhm.
and it changes your
Mhm.
physiology for sure. So now I've learned that no matter what, I will take the time to do that breath work before I get in cold water. Actually, recently, I had the opportunity to go see Wim Hof in Toronto because I live just a bit north of Toronto. So a friend, one of my cold plunging friends, and I bought tickets and we went to
Yes.
see him live, and it was awesome.
Oh,
With him,
wow.
no, we were all just in a theater,
Hmm.
so there wasn't an opportunity for that. I think it was very interesting
That's so
for
cool.
sure.
Did you
And I've
cold
done
plunge with
some
him?
other breath work too. There's another person that we've met who's
Okay.
local, and his story
Gotcha.
is quite profound, actually. He used to have a
Hmm.
pretty heavy drug addiction, almost overdosed multiple times. And long story short, breathwork saved his life. And now he leads people in breathwork sessions. And so I've been in a couple of his sessions
Hmm.
as well. And it's so
Hmm.
cool what happens in your body. And I find that the more you do it,
Hmm.
the deeper you get in to things, it can be so profound. And it's something like that's always accessible to us.
Hmm.
It's our breath. It's our breath. It's just breathing patterns. It feels really uncomfortable at first when you're starting to do that because
Yeah. It's free.
you don't trust that when you're taking those short, quick inhales, deep inhales,
Hmm.
right? That your body's getting all the oxygen it
It
needs to
does.
let go and just hold that. And your brain, like you were talking before, your brain kind of kicks in and it's starting to panic. Like, you need to breathe, you need to breathe, you need to breathe. And you have to override that. Like, I'm okay. In fact, I'm good. This is okay. I'm safe here. Breathwork can be very profound.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Super profound. Yeah, you're like literally riding the edge of, you know, I don't know what to call it. There's these monks that will practice meditation and different forms of breath work to get to a point where they leave their body. And sometimes they'll leave their body for a short time and come back. But the pinnacle of that journey that they're on is that they will eventually leave their body and not come back while they're in a meditation. So their heart will stop and they'll stop breathing, and they die. But they do that, and it's like a whole ceremony. It's like a conscious thing. And I think meditation and breath work are kind of like that. Um, you're slowing down, you're and you're relaxing, opening up, and slowing down, and
Yeah.
allowing wisdom to just pour through you, energy to pour through you, and you're kind of like riding the edge, like almost like you're dancing on the edge of a cliff, right? And the universe is like, hey, you know, you can jump and you'll have a blast, fly off, whatever, but you don't have to. I'm going to give you all of this wisdom here, and you can share everything that you've gained from this, riding the edge thing, or you can just jump and, you know, enjoy the ride. That's what I think they're doing. I think that they are like about to jump off the cliff,
I'm
but
just
before they do, they get all
stay.
this wisdom. They
Just gonna
come
stay
out
over
of
here.
the meditation. They're like, hey,
I'm
this
gonna
is what I
go back
learned.
to.
And then they'll keep going back and back until eventually, like, I'm satisfied learning everything that I've wanted to learn. And then they, boop, jump. Yeah. Yep. And then they stay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do that, like people, we do that naturally in meditation or some sort of, or a breath work or a sound bath, even dreaming. I think we're always doing that,
Definitely real.
kind of tapping in, learning
Definitely real.
something profound, not necessarily scientific, but real, very real. So, This book,
Honestly, mine
Miracles Are
were
Normal.
everyday. It was
What
about an
miracles,
everyday
other
miracle.
than every day,
I I don't
what
know. I just
miracles were the
intuitively
miracles that you
had
talked
this
about in that book?
feeling that people would be writing about bigger things. So I'd seen in our communications
Mm-hmm.
back and forth with each other a little bit. I'd seen someone like start give an example of starting a story, and it was
Mm.
and what she was writing about or was about to speak about was something along the line of that was the day that my son almost died. So I perceive that to be okay. I feel like people are going to be talking about big miracles, big divine intervention kind of thing. And I just felt inspired to write about something smaller. So my chapter was about appreciating the small
Mm-hmm.
miracles.
Yeah.
You get magic every day. Like we don't have to wait for the really big thing or the thing that we perceive or judge as grand enough to celebrate it. We are
Mm-hmm.
manifesting all the time, and there are miracles
Yes.
around us all the time. So the miracles are normal was about like what got me
Yes.
was the magical manifestations because I just love stuff like that. So I wrote
Mm-hmm.
about an experience where I, I was coming out of a period where there was just a lot going on in my life, a lot of things to navigate and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things to manage and be on top of. And so I had been pulled in, like a lot of them very wonderful things, right? Like, but still taking my energy, like taking energy to be on top of. And I hadn't really had a full day to just and do nothing or do something or just to not have a schedule or something that had to be done. I could just go with the flow of the day and be in my own space. And I hadn't had a day like that in a while. So it was a Saturday night. A friend of mine who's a musician was playing at a local restaurant. And so a bunch of us went to listen and support. And there was a big snowstorm coming.
Hmm.
We had a very, very snowy, cold winter this winter. And they were talking about some of my friends work for the school board, they work in schools. And so they were talking about how Monday was going to be, they're all already thinking Monday would be a snow day where because of the conditions, school would be closed. And they were talking about having the day off. And so as I was sitting there, I was thinking, like, I know what I have planned on Monday. I'm going to see a client. It's a bit of a drive, rural roads. And I was thinking, whew, I'm going to need to shovel my way out of my driveway. I was thinking about all the things. And they were talking about, well, I'm going to use the day for this. I'm going to use the day for that. I really hope this happens. And I was thinking, I would love a day off too, but like I'm going to honor my commitment with my client. So it'll come down to like, am I able to actually get out of the driveway? Because if not, if the roads are that bad, I'm going to need to reschedule because safety first. Um, but if that isn't the case, I'm going to go. And so the storm came. It started that Saturday night. It snowed all through the night, all through the next day. It was still
Mm-hmm.
snowing hard when I went to bed Sunday night. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to set my alarm extra early so I have time to clear the driveway. I'll assess the situation in the morning. But I just kind of put out there, I would really love a day off. That would be really cool. And then I thought, like, no attachment. I'll be good either way. So then I went to bed. And in the morning, I woke up. I went and I looked outside. It wasn't still snowing, but it was windy. So there was like snow that had already fallen blowing around. I could see that the plows
Mm-hmm.
had been by on a residential street because I could see the hump at the end of the driveway. So I knew the roads were clear. So I thought, okay, snow has stopped, roads are clear. I'm going to see my client. So I went outside, I shoveled the driveway, I came back in, I had my shower, I had my
Mm-hmm.
breakfast, and as I'm sitting down, sitting down to my breakfast and my cup of tea, I then picked up my phone just to like to check it, because I don't touch my phone for a good time in the morning. And there was a text from my client, and it said, "Would it be okay if we rescheduled today? Today doesn't work for me anymore." And I was just like, that's magical. Like, absolutely. And I just thought that was a really magical moment. It's a very small thing, but I put that wish out there like, yeah, it'd be really cool to have a day off. But I'm going to go anyway. And I was prepared to go, and I was good with it. In my
Yes.
mind, all I could see was the only way I'm going to have tomorrow off is weather related, right? I never saw, I never would have considered that something would happen on my client's end, that the client would actually reach out to say, hey, can we cancel today and reschedule for another time? That never even crossed my mind. So the whole experience for me was, number one, like, I just manifested a day off. And that's magical. That's awesome. And also just appreciation for divine intervention, like how creative it is and playful, and how our human minds like to think that
Mm-hmm.
we can logic our way and figure things out, like logically these are the only ways that this could come to be. But then when something actually comes to be, it comes in a way you never could have dreamed of or imagined or seen coming. And so to me, that's magical. And I think when we stop to appreciate, first of all, like, the moment was kind of like my ego was humbled, and I was so grateful. So I just took a moment to see,
That
like,
is.
thank you for that. Like, thank you for all of my blessings, big and small, because this is exactly what I really needed today. And it's not some big save somebody's life, but it was what I really needed that day. And the way it happened was magical. And that's a blessing. And I'm grateful. And I think when we stop to appreciate the everyday miracles and the everyday little manifestations, the things we don't see coming, we get to experience the magic of our bodies, our experience, the planet, our life every day. We don't have to wait for the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I love that. I love that. People need to hear that more often, because every single moment really is a blessing. Just today, I was sitting on my couch and I was just looking at these two dogs, and they're awesome. And they were outside enjoying the sun, which they haven't done because it's been cold. We're no longer getting cold weather anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and and just witnessing them enjoy the sun outside made me appreciate the fact that I had them in my life. You know, it's hard to explain why, but it was just the feeling that I had. An overwhelming sense of gratitude for them and their existence and the fact that I have them, and you know
Mm-hmm.
them being part of my life has been an amazing gift. And I don't know what my life would be like without them. It wouldn't be the way that it is
Right.
now, that's for sure.
But it is. Well,
And the way
and
that it is now is
it is.
I am
Yeah.
very grateful for.
Because
And that's just, I
um,
see them all the time.
I can feel the love you have for them.
It's
Just
not like
like
a big thing,
hearing you,
big,
seeing how your face changes, seeing the smile
but
on your face, like
but it is.
the love you have for them
Yeah.
comes through.
Mm-hmm.
It's visible. You light up. And on the other end, they feel that
Yes.
love and they return that love. And that's connection, and that's a beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
everybody, I think ultimately one of the things we all really want most in
Mm-hmm.
our lives is connection. And you get to have those two little animals. I don't know what size they are. I'm
They
just
do.
saying little, but like you have those dogs and they have you and you have connection. I
It is.
mean, it's not human to human, but I've had pets in my life too, and I know what it's like to have the love of an animal there with you. It's reciprocal and it's a beautiful thing. So you see them outside, sunshine, and it warms your heart for them. It makes sense. It makes total sense. And that enhances your life, and your love for them enhances their life. That's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, it really is. It really is. I'm very grateful for them in my life. Just the other day I was walking. I had a week off of work, and I was walking them in the morning after I had done um, my own exercise. I think that day was a run day, so I was outside a lot that day. And I'm walking them, enjoying the sun, enjoying the sky, and because I had no work for that entire week, everything that I was doing completely aligned with my heart. I didn't set an alarm. I had no timeline, no agenda, just feeling and following the feeling. I had things that I desired to do, but they were things that I didn't have to do, which was a unique feeling that I had, I guess, forgotten, or at least wasn't tuned into for a while. And I was walking my dogs, and I'm like, huh, I'm walking my dogs. I can do this now. I can
Mm-hmm.
do it later. I can do it. I don't have to do it if I don't want to, but I'm doing it because I want to, not because I have to. And I realized that everything that I did that day and then I'm about to do, because I had things that I wanted to do as well. I'm only doing those things because I want to do them. And I realized in that moment that that is
Yeah.
the feeling that I want. That everything, that my
Mm-hmm.
time and what I do with my time is only things that I genuinely want to do and that I don't have to do. Like this feeling of freedom. That is a feeling that I think a lot of us want. And it is amazing. It is an amazing feeling. And I realize now with that, just that simple walk. I was just literally walking them down the street. But I now have that
Mm-hmm.
memory fresh in my mind and my body. And as I'm doing things like this, for example, I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm doing this because I want to. I genuinely enjoy having deep conversations with people. And and that is a wonderful feeling. And so moving forward, I
Yep.
want to
Yep.
maintain
I'm.
that.
Yep.
That little miracle
I.
of
Yep.
experience
I have a
of
scene in my
freedom,
right now,
the
right there in
sensation
that
of
moment.
freedom,
I know exactly what you speak
um,
of.
doing things because I want to, not because I have to.
You said
Yeah, Tony
freedom and
talks
put a
about that.
smile on my face. Like, yeah. Let's
Man,
go.
he's so
Yeah.
smart.
No, I'm planning on going to UPW in Cologne.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great, huh? Date with Destiny. Let's go. Are you going to Business Mastery? Oh, awesome. Awesome. I'm
I
thinking
heard
of
the same
going
rumor.
to
Yes,
UPW in Cologne. I don't know. So I heard a rumor
it
that
is.
Tony said on stage. I didn't see it, but some of the other crew members were
That's an
saying that he
amazing goal.
said that his 50th year might be his last year. Hmm. It's a bittersweet kind
Mm.
of thing. I want to go plat. I want to go plat his final year. That's my goal.
While you're there.
Yeah. So if I go to business mastery this year, my goal is to go as a participant, um,
Hmm.
um, but as a plat participant, or at least purchase plat while I'm there. So maybe, yeah. Um, but we'll see. I'm starting. So I started this business, Grow as You Go, and I'm about to launch my app. I just delivered the app to for review to Apple um, yesterday for the second time. Actually, the third time. Lots of bugs I had to fix, but yeah, I had a realization
That
at
was my first time
Fiji
crewing that
last
event.
year in October
Was my first crewing.
for Life
Yep.
and Wealth Mastery. Um, for me personally, this whole journey started with a vision that I had at UPW in 2023 in Dallas, which
Yeah.
really, oh wow, that's so awesome. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing about this crew world and this Tony world is we are a family and a community, and we cross paths so many times. But that was my first participating live event. Well, actually, I did go to Tony's 60th birthday event, but that's not like an official, you know, Tony event. But yeah, on the second day, I had a little miracle where it was a meditation that Joseph McClendon was taking us through, and we had just finished like jumping up and down, so our heart
Hmm.
rates are up, and then we stop and we go into a meditative state. You know, they turn down the lights, play some soft music, and then Joseph is like, "If you could be doing one thing right now, what would you be doing? You know, other than being there." Um, and I had a vision of volunteering at the Blind and Deaf School here in Colorado Springs, and it was very, very visual, very like real. And I had goosebumps going up and down my body. You know, I was crying, tingling sensations in a beautiful, magical way. And so I decided that, okay, I'm going to do that. And so I did that when I got back. And um, it was a profound experience. And I
Awesome.
realized that, like,
Hmm.
literally the
Yep.
day I left volunteering, I was crying, called my mom, and I was like, I found it. I discovered it. I discovered the thing that I want to do. Like the thing that I want to devote my life to, kind of thing. Not like, work or whatever. And so it was, volunteering and service. And so that same day, I called up Tony's people and I said,
Hmm.
"Hey, I need a coach to help me earn passive income so that I can serve 24/7." And so that was kind of like the start of this journey. And then, but that statement was important for me. I need passive income in order to serve 24/7. But when I went to Fiji, which was the very last event as a
Hmm.
participant um, within the whole like scope of events, um, I had a realization, and the realization was that I had that statement backwards. It was that serving 24/7 is going to bring passive income, and so this Grow as You Go is my form of service um, that will bring passive income so that I can serve 24/7 with Grow as You Go. So the app is like a spiritual development app. It helps
Hmm.
me. Everything in there is stuff that I've used to help me spiritually develop. And so I just packaged it in a way that would at the very least help me and ideally help other people. Um, and so it's basically just
It's all relative, right?
a collection of tools that
I
people can
love
use
that journey
to
that you went on
help
to get
themselves
to where you are
spiritually
now.
develop.
That's amazing.
And yeah, little. That's kind of a bigger miracle,
And
but
I
bigger
love the
doesn't
way
even.
you
There's
switched
no
it
difference really.
to serving first.
It's all relative, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a true
And I can't
blessing
wait.
and
I
a
can't wait
gift.
to see your app. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes. Yeah. That's the secret actually.
A little bit of Kanai,
um
a little bit of Kanai,
I've been on
constant
this.
improvement. Yeah. We'll
Oh,
yeah.
you'll see it. Yeah, I'm gonna send it out to all the crew members first, um, so y'all can play with it and hopefully get some feedback from y'all before I like, huh? Yeah. Yes, exactly. Um, yeah, I would love to get everybody's feedback from that, but just before I like announce it to the world, I want to share it with the people that I'm closest with um, to get feedback. But yeah, it's super cool. I'm really stoked about it. I I'm not even a developer. I'm not a coder, but I do know how to use AI, and so I've been using AI
Exactly.
for the past
Exactly.
mm,
I have
like
multiple
eight
projects on
months
the go
or
right
so,
now,
6 to 8
too.
months working on this every day,
I'm getting ready
and
to start
yeah, it's
doing
super
online
exciting.
yoga
A
classes. I've been
project
doing predominantly
like
in
yours that's going to
person,
add value to the
regular
quality of
classes,
people's
and
existence.
events, festivals, things
Yes.
along that line. Just coming in as a facilitator, but I'm
Really?
looking to shift
What
that
else are you working
online.
on?
I have been doing a lot with seniors. I teach classes through the town that I live in. Um, I teach dance and yoga. So it started out with like, hey, we're looking to start some classes for the 55
Mm.
plus, like line dancing. Is that something you would do? And I'm like, sure, let's give that a go. Right. So it started with that and it's evolved. So we've been doing we do chair yoga. I do chair yoga with them. They have the option, I make it very versatile. So it's very inclusive and all levels of mobility,
Uh-huh.
ability, experience, it can be tailored to everyone. So for people who do like to go into yoga poses down on the floor, like we start seated and then we get up, we do a little Brian Bradley stuff, and then we go behind the chair, and you have the option of using the chair in place of the floor, or sometimes we'll use the wall in place of the floor, so you're planking on the wall or the chair, not getting all the way down to the floor and all the way up, because not everybody is able to do that, and I want to make it accessible. But you can go down to the floor on your mat if you want.
Yeah.
So we had a grant from the town, got a grant to run this class for free for anyone 55 and over who lived in the area. And then the funding kept getting extended, but eventually it came to a close, and then it got moved on to what we have. We have a rec pass here in the town, which is a really great deal for people that age. But I noticed some of the people that were coming regularly were no longer coming anymore. And I know that there are some people who, it just wasn't accessible for them, perhaps financially. So my first thought was, you know what? I'm going to just start with one online chair yoga class, and I'm going to make it pay what you can.
Hmm.
So if you can make a payment, make a payment. If you can't, come and join it anyway. Because I see the progress that the people in my classes have made since we started. It's been over a year now. And from the first class to what these students are doing in my class now, it's a huge difference. And they tell me, like,
Mm.
I have more flex, like I have more range of movement, I have more energy, I feel stronger, I feel more stable, and I feel more at peace. So I know that it's serving people. And I want to start with that first and foremost. I want to be able to reach out to the people that aren't coming anymore and say, "Hey, here's an option. Let's just start here." And then I'm going to, as you are, grow as I go.
Hmm.
It's going to be my first step. So I'm getting ready to begin that. I would like to write my own book, be the own, like, whole author, because I have just so much I would love to share with people, because we all, like, as with you, you're sharing the things that have helped you with others, because there are some people out there that it will serve. We
Totally.
all have something that we can offer people based on our experience, right? These are the things that help me feel better, mind, body, soul. So let me share it. And if it helps others, even if it just helps one person, then that's a win. That's a win. I did it online. I did it virtually. I did those virtually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lauren, did you go to Fiji? Did you go to Life and Wealth Mastery?
Yeah. Do it.
Oh, okay. Lauren, Lauren, was she your facilitator? Yeah, she said she
It will
said that,
help
and
at
it really
least one
resonated with
person.
me. If you
And
knew
then
that what you
then
created
you can
would
grow.
help one
As you
person,
grow, you have
would
more
you
to
do
offer.
it?
As you have
And
more
everyone's
experience,
like, yes, of course.
more
And
profound,
she's like, okay, then
like,
do
whoa,
it,
okay. Then
build it,
you
create
have
it,
more to
whatever it
offer
is,
more
write
people.
it, because
And
it
I
will
believe that there are
help one
people
person.
out there that, maybe
Yeah.
my voice isn't for everybody, but there are people that my voice is for. And if I don't put what has
Mm-hmm.
helped me out there, like, there's a reason why, beyond my own evolution, there's a reason why I have had the experiences in my life I've had, and the fact that I've been able to navigate them and what I've learned from them and things like that. There there are people who need to hear that, just like there were authors, podcasters, videos, things like that, of other people, the whole Tony Robbins experience. I i needed to hear messages from all of those people, and all of that together has helped me. I can contribute that back into the world, and I can start with one person, and as I grow, I have more to share, and then it can maybe be a bigger ripple effect. Yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I love that perspective too. Like, it sounds like you're seeing it as if you're part of this this bigger picture where it's not just you, it's you
Mhm.
and all of us together contributing whatever it is that we can and are willing to contribute. You know, like, one ripple contributes to all
Right.
of the
Yep.
ripples together, and when they converge, you get a crest or a wave. We're all part of this system of service. We don't have to be
Yeah.
like this big, this relatively big ripple. You know, every ripple is valuable, and we all play a part in
Mhm.
this bigger system. That's that I think that mentality is one of the most important perspectives to have. You know, because Tony talks
Mm-hmm.
about how we all struggle with this idea of not being enough, you know, and we come up with these questions in our mind or these statements in our mind where we say, you know, what if what I do isn't worthy, or what if it's not good enough, or something enough. And that can kind of slow us down or hinder us from taking those steps to at least do something that we know is aligned with what we want to do, what we want to create, contribute to.
True.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter like the
You can't go
scale
wrong when
of
that's your
it.
lead. You can't go wrong.
What really matters
Like when your
is
heart
what we
is
say matters,
leading you, when
and
you're
what
looking
we
to
feel is
serve,
most
to
aligned
grow, to contribute,
with our hearts.
you can't go wrong.
You know, the secret to
And
living
you're
is
right.
giving.
The
I totally
scale
love that. It's
doesn't
such a good,
matter. The scale doesn't
such
matter.
a good
And even if
statement.
perhaps you are destined to one day be like huge,
Yeah.
every person who is huge and having a very wide impact began somewhere. They started with the first step. And I
You
think
really
sometimes
can't.
we hear Tony talk back to like when he was making those VHS videos or infomercials. Like those aren't like where he is now. He started there too. So let's just forget that, because the fact is, if we sit and we wait
Mm-hmm.
until we feel good enough or it's perfect, which isn't even attainable, perfectionism, like not even real, then our message, our learning, our sharing, what we have to share and give and contribute never gets out to the world.
Yeah.
And then you're so busy trying to make it good enough that you end up serving nobody. You're doing a disservice to the people who need to hear or need
Mm-hmm.
to receive what you have to share.
Mm-hmm.
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 Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the people that want to hear what you have to say too.
Exactly.
Like,
And
people
there's an
will look
abundance of
forward
flavors of
to the
ice cream.
things that we have to say, especially the people that feel most
Yay,
aligned
thankfully.
or resonated with our style or our story, whatever it might
Yeah.
be.
And
You
I
know,
think we complement each other as well
everybody
because we
has
have
their
our
own
own
favorite
unique
flavor of ice cream.
perspective and learning that and experience that we come from. It doesn't mean that one is right and one is wrong.
There
I
it
think
is.
it's maybe like a puzzle, right? Like we each are a different
That is
piece.
so
And so
so
when
true.
more of us are
I know,
putting
right?
that out there
We're
and
so
people are
blessed to have
accessing
so many
more,
flavors of ice cream.
it creates the whole bigger picture, right? So imagine like making a puzzle and knowing that some of those pieces aren't available because they were deemed not good enough to include. Yeah,
Mm, it
complete.
does.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Hmm. Yeah. But they are
exactly.
actually essential, because if the puzzle
Exactly.
piece is never placed with all the other puzzle pieces, then the picture itself is incomplete.
Yeah.
So each piece is absolutely critical
Yeah.
to the whole. You can't have it without everything else, or you can't have everything else
Yes.
without it. Yeah, that means that right there, that mentality right there is I think fundamental, um, in existence, in humanity. Recognizing that, like going back to the a Rubik's cube analogy. Or there's another one. Um, this is talked about in this book, Stalking the Wild Pendulum by Itzhak Bentov. And he talks about how an atom is constantly vibrating or oscillating, right? And if you were to break that pattern down into a two-dimensional representation, you would get a pendulum, right? And as that atom is swinging from left to right, there's a moment of absolute zero movement or zero velocity because it has to change direction.
Mm-hmm.
And at that absolute zero, there's this thing in quantum, there's a saying in quantum physics, or like this conundrum. It's called the uncertainty principle, where if something isn't moving, you can't measure it because you have nothing to measure it against because it's at zero. It's not moving. You can't see it. You can only see things because they're moving. So when something reaches absolute zero, it vanishes or it disappears from existence.
Yes.
But once it comes back into movement, it pops back into place. That transition from zero to movement requires an infinite amount of energy, which is why we're always moving constantly, which also proves that we have an infinite amount of energy being applied to us to maintain movement, to maintain our existence. Like our atoms, when we die, our atoms will still exist for eternity. So he says that if you were to take an atom or any material, any formation of material, and just pull it out of existence or make it reach absolute zero, then reality itself will implode upon the point in which that atom was taken out of existence, which means that you and me and everybody else and everything in existence is literally fundamental in the fabric of reality and its function. If we ceased to exist, like we are so important, we are so infinitely significant that if we stopped existing, reality would cease to exist itself. We would implode into a singularity point because the amount of energy required to pluck us out of existence is infinite, which suggests that our level of importance for existence is unfathomable. Unfathomable. Which also kind of ties into this idea of what we do versus what we don't do.
Love that.
Doesn't really matter.
It's
like
great.
We don't have to do anything to be worth anything, and we don't have to not do anything to be worth anything. Existence itself, just existing, is enough for us to know that we are worthy of love. It's great. Yeah, and so like I just wanted to say that because like we're talking about doing things and taking actions, but I think it's also important to recognize that we don't have to do anything. Like those things that we do, whether big or small, it doesn't really matter, right? The only thing that matters is what we say matters and what we feel is the most aligned with our hearts. And if that is what's most aligned with our hearts, then wonderful. Then that's great. I'm not more worthy of love or less worthy of love for doing those things. I exist, and that's it. That's enough. So for people out there, it's okay.
I love that message.
If you can't do anything,
well said.
If you want to do everything, that's great. But you don't have to do anything in order to be worthy of love, because you're worthy of an infinite amount of love, because there's an infinite amount of love being applied to us right now to exist. And that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I get kind of caught up, at least that was an old pattern. Like, I would only give myself love when I would do things. Like, I would only give myself love when I went to the gym.
I
ate
think it's
healthy,
just part of the
worked on a
human
project that is aligned with my
experience,
heart,
let's call it,
blah, blah, blah. Like
to
I made
forget
all these
about all of that,
rules to give myself
right?
love.
Like we could get a whole other
Um,
conversation here, and I'm
when in
open to it,
reality, there
but
was
like
already an infinite amount of
we
love
come
being
in
applied to me
whole, and when we land
every
here,
single
we
moment of every
are
single
like,
day.
we forget all of it. And then things start piling on, right? And I think part of our purpose is to clear that muck and remember exactly what you're saying and
Yes.
get back to that. Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember what we've already known and felt to be true. Like our heart is the physical manifestation
Doesn't really
of
matter. But no, the
unconditional
fact
love.
that your heart is beating,
It
you are
beats no
worthy of
matter
love.
what we do, no matter what we
We're
don't do, no matter what we consume, no matter what we don't consume. It don't care. It just loves us. It's just going to beat.
love you. Love
Sometimes it
you.
gets excited,
Instead
sometimes
of
it
a
gets tired.
bum bum. Love
Doesn't
you.
really matter.
I like Morse code. Yeah. I like I'm gonna take that along with me. I'm gonna remember that.
Exactly. My heart is telling me every
That's
single
fun.
second, I love you. I love you. I love you. Knock knock. Who's there? Love. Yeah.
We could totally.
Yeah, that's what that
Yeah.
means. It's Morse code. Yeah. Do it.
That sounds good.
Yeah, do it. Um well, Krista, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you for your time and joining me in this wonderful conversation. I can tell that we can keep this going
Yes. And
very
I would
easily.
love to do that.
Yeah,
So
but
we will
yeah,
continue the
let's. I think this is a
conversation
good spot
and dive
to
a
end
little
it for
deeper
now,
because
and
I feel we
then
might have that in
we can do
common.
this again.
Just that to
I
like
do have
just
some more
dive deep
things I
on
do
all
want to talk
things.
about with you
Yeah.
again at some point,
That's
talking about energy
so good.
and
All right. It's a
information
deal.
in energy. This is something I've been
Thank you.
exploring lately, and I'm curious
My
your
pleasure.
thoughts on this. But I want to save it
Thank you
for
for
another
having.
time. Yes,
There will be, not yet.
I can
In a
easily
few,
go down a rabbit
in three
hole
or 4 weeks, the
very
hard copy will
fast.
be available. And there's also the
All right,
first
cool.
one,
Well, thanks again, Krista.
Divine Rebirth.
Um,
This one is clearly
so yeah,
already
quick
available
plug.
hard
Oh,
copy
my pleasure.
on
Quick
Amazon.
plug. So,
Thank you
get your
so much.
book for the people who are watching. Get Krista's book. Miracles Are Normal on Kindle,
Sounds
right?
good. You
Yeah,
too.
soft copy, and is there hard copy yet? Beautiful. Divine Rebirth. Awesome. Cool. Thank you, Krista. Have a wonderful and blessed day, and I'll talk to you again soon.